Alright, Red Faction. Hold on. Meet that. Um, I have a life I'm going, so when I upload videos, my stuff doesn't stop because get right to uploading. But today we are covering the Dev Insight Final Shape Armor Tuning Preview. So, hello, this is the Armor team with an overview of some of the tuning changes we're making for the final shape. We've been primarily focused on updates of bringing our existing armor and armor mods up to date with the release of the Prismatic subclass. This includes a fairly wide range of changes across our roster of exotic armor, as well as some updates to specific weapon mods. In addition to that, we still manage to find a little bit of time to branch out a little, including putting together a little update for you who are just a few points short of that triple hundred stat loadout. Subclass matching Prismatic and U. Our existing armor and mods were originally released in a world where each subclass was only ever a single element. Since that will no longer be true with the release of the final shape, we've taken the pass through our existing gear. For the most part, this means updating exotic armor and mods to reference a player's equipped super element instead of a specific subclass. This allows their effects to function on Prismatic without changing their behavior on the original subclass. For example, the Titan Exotic Horfrazi will require a stasis super to be equipped rather than a full stasis subclass. We've also taken the opportunity to update the description of harmonic mods to better explain their behavior and fully support strand on resistance mods. However, in a few places we wanted to make more meaningful changes. We've detailed them below alongside with our reasoning. So, Trident Vice will no longer require a glaive that matches your subclass to trigger its detonations. Given the limited pool of glaive options, we wanted to open up to support a wide variety of builds. We also wanted to let the glaive melee bonus linger for a bit after you stop being surrounded, to add some ease of use and to bring it further parity with Synthoceps. Glaive projectile final blows now trigger a detonation that matches the glaive's damage type even when the glaive does not match the equipped subclass. The surrounded effect provided by the vice while using the glaive now lingers on the player for 5 seconds after no longer being surrounded. Dragon Shadows has been updated to trigger its effect when you use an ensnaring slam or the new Ascension Arc aspect, opening up more build crafting combinations. Dragon Shadow, Full Tracer now grants a bonus damage it inflicts on the target to weapons. Damage type also matches that of the ability used to damage that target, instead of always matching the equipped subclass. With Prismatic, you can apply a variety of different damage elements with your subclass. This change allows Full Tracer to buff multiple different weapon damage types, instead of just one that matches your subclass or super element. In addition to the benefit to the 6th Coyote, along with Armortarium for Titans, since otherwise the Spirit Coyote perk on the new class items would have granted the same benefits as the original, we took inspiration from Claws of Ahamkar and added an ability for 6th Coyote to create orbs of power from final blows after using your class ability. This is also implemented on the exotic, granting a free copy of Reaper armor mod effects. Renewal Grasp has been updated to grant the Frost Armor Stasis keyword instead of a bespoke damage effect reduction. Upon entering your Dustfield Grenade volume, you or your allies will grant a stack of Frost Armor. About every 0.9 seconds, an additional stack of Frost Armor is granted, resetting your timer. Start Eater Scales has always been a strong exotic, but after the Lightfall changes to armor mods, Orbs of Power are much easier to come by. We want to adjust Star Eater Scales to balance the effort required to gain its powerful effects. On top of this, we're making a change regarding its efficiency when paired with multiple players running Golden Gun, to reduce its potential for a fire team to loop supers infinitely. Increase Orbs of Power required to grant maximum benefits from 4 to 6. Reduce the increased super energy gain per orbs of damage when Golden Gun is equipped from 2% down to 0.5%. Okay, interesting Hunter ones. Now on to the Titan. We've updated Ursa Ferosa to improve the new Void aspect Unbreakable, in addition to its previous effects. Now provides increased movement speed while guarding with Unbreakable. Also grants super energy for guarding with Unbreakable. This energy scales based on the amount of incoming damage the shield absorbs. Eternal Warrior no longer requires an arc subclass for arc final blows to grant its escalating arc weapon damage bonus. This allows it to synergize with prismatic builds more easily, rather related to the Fist of its behavior related to Fist of Havoc is unchanged though. Okay. Interesting. So as long as you get arc final blows, you don't need to have like an arc subclass. Like Sis Coyote above, Armortarium has been updated with an additional benefit, granting a second grenade beyond granting a second grenade charge. It now increases orbital power on grenade final blows. This is implemented to as the exotic, granting a free copy of firepower armor mod effects. Kefri's Horn was feeling lackluster in many situations, so he increased its potency to its Solar Blast. Increase the damage from Solar Blast by 100% in PvE. Solar Blast now scorches a target each time it hits a target instead of scorching only once. Kefri Horns now benefits from the Ember of Eruption and Ember of Ashes. 30% 30 scorch in PvE and 15 in PvP. Heart of Innermost Life buffs in the HUD could easily crowd out other important information, so we felt it was less verbose in its HUD feedback. And now this. So it now displays a single consolidated status effect icon in the HUD to communicate its state instead of the 2 or 3 it used before. The functionality of the exotic is unchanged. Synthoceps is an exotic all about being in a thick group of enemies, and the effects are potent to offset the inherent damage of being surrounded. However, we felt it was a little too easy to carry those powerful effects once triggered into a far less dangerous 1v1 encounters. Reduce the amount of time that biotic enhancement lingers after no longer being surrounded from 8 seconds to 5 seconds. This duration is now visible as a timer on the buff. Severance Enclosure is a particularly noisy exotic when it comes to its effects blasting enemies around the battlefield. We wanted to alleviate some of the noise and awkwardness around the explosions, to better bring them in line with our other area of effects on exotics. Explosions now require line of sight to damage enemies. We also reduce the knockback intensity on these explosions, which will now launch enemies more consistently vertically. So they go up instead of down. And you have to be when you damage a target, they have to be in your line of sight. Warlock. Mantle of Battle Harmony has been adjusted to grant more super energy for defeating powerful enemies, and the cooldown on granting super energy has been removed. This is intended to make it more potent in a wider variety of activities. Now grants super energy ranging from 1.5 to 4.5 depending on the target type killed. What does that mean for PvP? I wonder. Remove the 2-second cooldown on the perk's activation. Wrathweavers, we covered this yesterday. Activating your rift grants you or allies the maximum frost stacks when Frost Pulse is equipped. Activating your Winter's Wrath Shadow attack grants nearby allies the maximum stacks of frost armor. When your Winter's Wrath ends, you gain the maximum stacks of frost armor. Okay, so if you want to go for more of, okay, so you're still going to want to use Frost Pulse with this. This answers the question I had yesterday. When it ends, you gain the maximum stacks of frost armor. Okay. Secant Filaments Empowering Rift will now reset a player's existing Devour buff duration back to 11 seconds when they enter it, in addition to its previous behavior. Vorta's Brow now requires final blows with a weapon matching your grenade's damage type instead of matching your equipped subclass. This better supports using it on the prismatic subclass. Sunbracers has had quite a bit of time in the sun this season. We wanted to bring down some of the extreme potency and crowd control while also tackling the visual noise it produced on the battlefield. However, we didn't want to remove its core identity of blanketing the battlefield in solar light. Reduce the increased solar grenade duration from 4 seconds to 2 seconds. Reduce the grenade recharge rate to allow a maximum of 4 grenades while the effect is active, down from 5. When multiple warlocks used Sympho type masks on a single target, it resulted in far more heavy ammo than was healthy in the sandbox. It also pushed fire teams all into using the same build, which is more reductive than we would like. Multiple players using the mask will no longer trigger its effect on using a single target. Who is using this mask? Because I'm not. Powered melee and armor effects. Hold on. The term powered melee is always intended to mean spending a melee charge. However, subclasses like combination blow or knockout will allow players to circumvent this cost, this making it difficult to balance the potency of effects that require a powered melee, especially across all classes and subclasses. We want to standardize this better across the sandbox. We're starting by updating Severance Enclosure and Assassin's Cowl to only trigger their effects when a player spends a melee charge or uses his finisher to get a final blow. We plan on rolling out this change out to more content that triggers powered melee in future updates. This is what we're going to want to talk about here. Okay. Even if you spent the time to get that 100 Artifice armor set on your build, one piece is always a bit left out. Whether you're looking to make everything match, or get that last +3 to resilience, or you just want to get your hands on Artifice armor for the first time, we figured it was about time for us to tie up those loose ends and release the final shape. Exotic armor will now be able to access the unique mod slot and free stats of Artifice armor. Exotic armor can now be upgraded after it's been fully masterworked, granting a Artifice mod slot. This comes at the cost of 1 exotic cipher and 10,000 glimmer. Oh, hell yeah. That's cool. That means like a +3 to something else. So I'm going to real quickly take a look at one of my builds that I currently have and where that +3 could be good. So I could reduce my cooldown for my super by a little bit. Or I could move a little bit faster. And that's what I currently have equipped. And that's with having like only a few Artifice. So that'd be cool. Being able to, let an exotic have that additional piece to it, because that's always been the thing. That's cool. I like that. But it means having to get exotic ciphers more. Which really isn't a problem when you think about it. In the live game now, heavy and special ammo finder mods reset their progress towards a ammo brick whenever you die. This leads to players receiving less ammo and harder difficulty activities, especially when they're playing right on the edge of their skill level. In fact, if you were unlucky enough with the timing of your character dying, it is possible to never get any finder ammo bricks at all. In the final shape, we wanted to make ammo finders more predictable for all players across all activities. So heavy and special ammo finder mods will persist their progress towards a ammo brick through death. This means you'll always get a finder brick if you defeat enough enemies, regardless of how many times you died along the way. Because of this change, we have disabled ammo finder mods in Crucible, and player kills no longer grant ammo finder progress in Gambit. Oh my god, they mentioned Gambit. Holy. We also found this change dramatically increased the amount of ammo players will receive on average, so we increased the kill requirements for both special and heavy ammo finders by 20% for Guardians and the Fire Team. Solo Guardians, however, have no one to resurrect them when they are defeated, So we have left their kill requirements unchanged. Raid armor mods. The narrow application of raid mods allows us to give them potent benefits unique to raids in which they're used. However, these benefits are strong, so they don't currently feel impactful enough in practice, especially since they may not fit into your existing build. As a result, with loose with the final shape, we're making it easier to layer these extra elements in your loadouts so you can go for that perfect weapon roll. Removed all mod energy costs for raid specific armor mods. Huh. Okay. In conclusion, that's everything we have for this update. We're excited to see these changes in the final shape. We'll be listening to your feedback as you get some time with these new changes. So let's go to here. Okay. Mantle of Battle Harmony. As we know, Mantle of Battle Harmony is when you get a kill with a weapon matching, in this case, going to be your super if you have Prismatic. Yes, takedowns with weapons that have damage type matching your subclass element give you super energy. While your super energy is full, you instead gain a temporary bonus to weapon damage of the type matching your subclass element. For this meaning now, when you have Prismatic, if you have a Solar, Void, Arc, Stasis, or Strand super equipped, as long as the super matches one of your weapons, you will gain a 1.5 super bonus on the kill on a small ad, all the way up to a 4.5 if you defeat like a champion or something. Okay. Now let's take a look at Wrath Weavers. Do I not have a better? Did I delete the Wrath Weavers I had before? I must have. I'm an idiot. Okay. Your Winter's Wrath Shockwave deals increased shatter damage. Allies in range of your Winter's Wrath Shockwave and Frost Pulse gain an overshield and increased damage with stasis weapons. Okay. So, that part, so let's say I do a Frost Pulse. I gain maximum Frost armor stacks along with stasis weapon damage. Stasis weapon damage bonus. Okay? When I use my super now, any enemies near me, they'll gain the frost armor and the stasis weapon increase. When it ends for me, I gain maximum frost armor and that. Okay. Very interesting. I'm going to have to play around with that a little bit. Verda's Brow now requires final blows with weapon matching your grenade damage type. So, in the final shape, okay, that'd be interesting. So basically, if you know, what does that mean though? So I can run like a strand super, right? Have a random strand heavy weapon, not heavy weapon, special weapon like super cluster. Have like a threadling grenade, throw that out, get it, use prismatic. And that would change it, so then that would allow me to use a void weapon or a stasis heavy. Because the prismatic grenade changes to being a void and stasis one. correct? Because that would optimize it very well, I would think. Okay. Final blows with weapons matching your grenade type grant death throws, which provides grenade damage bonus and grants you grenade energy. When you have death throws and throw a grenade, nearby allies have increased grenade regeneration for a short time. So, okay. If I have a strand primary, then like let's say I have the the different times. Okay, I have a threading grenade, right? I'm using that. Boom, 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 boom. Final blows to get death throws. Okay. Then I switch to I activate the prismatic subclass like the little mini super ability. That would grant me a void and stasis one. That would increase my damage for either a stasis heavy or a void secondary. Right? Because it would be matching your it says matching your grenade's damage type. This better supports using a prismatic subclass. So with that supercharged grenade, wouldn't that in turn, do something different? It's like boom, 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 boom. Use threatlings. Threatlings would do increased damage because I would have death throws. My teammates would get more grenade energy. But then when I activate the prismatic super ability, throw out that stasis and void charged grenade, and then switch to a void weapon, couldn't I do the same thing? Would that also grant death throws? No, will now reset a player's existing Devour buff duration back to 11 seconds when they enter it, in addition to its previous behavior. So Secants. Casting and Power and Roof grant you Devour. Damage dealt by you or your allies whenever you are in Power Roof will distract combatants. So if I currently have Devour, it resets it back to 11 when we enter it. So if a teammate, like a hunter, had Devour and I have Secants, okay. Huh. Interesting. Some bracers don't use them that much. Symphopath, I don't use them that much. I'm not really overly I think the only one I like the most is this one, Wrathweavers. I think getting Frost Armor is going to be very good. Verta's Brow, I'll definitely have to test it and play around with it once it drops to see how useful it really is. Mantle of Battle Harmony, I think in PvE it's going to be very good. In PvP, who knows? I especially think when they did some of the changes to some of the supers, I think we're going to see a big push of some of the more roaming supers kind of come out. I also wonder how that's going to change how people do their build crafting. Since well is about to be gone, not like gone like it's going to be completely useless, it's just not going to be as potent as what it is that going to lead to a rise of, warlocks having to doing nova bombs and casting other supers? Because Needlestorm doesn't work in PvP. I think um, a good one for that is actually if you do still want someone to have a well, because you still want that radiant buff when you leave. I think Wrathweavers are going to come up because it's going to grant frost armor, and having the frost pulse equipped will make it even better. Yeah, I think Wrathweavers is going to become a very big thing in PvE. I think for um, I think your ad clear person will probably need to have like a well or something, and Mantle of Battle Harmony. Verda's Brow would probably only be something for like Prismatic, and it's going to depend on if it will deal with it depending on if you have, let's say that Prismatic bar is full, so you get that void and stasis thing, but then you have like I think the best thing to actually test out would be having. And here's the thing, like you'd have to use the glacial wall um, th- um, grenade to see it, because cold snap doesn't kill, and uh, cold snap only freezes, and um, the other one, um, what's its name? Um, Dustfield, that one. Um, it's gonna do. They don't do damage, so when we're looking at Verda's Brow in terms of using a stasis grenade, you kind of almost want the glacial wall one. You know, the ones the hunters always use the shadow divers with. Um, the yeah, the glacial grenade. I think that's going to be the one you use, but with prismatic you don't get a glacial grenade, so you're kind of screwed over there. So you have to use a grenade that does damage, but you'd have to have something that would allow you to get a quick final blow with it, to allow you to have to use like threadlings or something else. Or maybe you just have a void grenade, equipped, and then when you want to do damage with something stasis, you use the prismatic grenade because it freezes, and it's like a dust field and vortex grenade combined into one. But that'd be interesting. But I think Wrathweavers is definitely going to be something very interesting once the final shape drops, because that is going to be the new like PvE thing to do. So I would say try to get like a good Wrathweavers. I think mine is okay. It's not like fully leveled up, and I kind of want to wait to fully like burn it up, because I think it's going to be very very interesting. Alice in okay, so allies within the range of the shockwave, 30 meters, receive the following for 6 seconds in PvP. They're going to get frost armor, and they're going to get 4 stacks of a stasis weapon surge. On Riftcast with the Frost Pulse aspect equipped, you and allies within whatever things will get two stacks of the surge. Okay, you'll get 6 stacks of stasis weapon surge alongside the 50%. So they're going to get a stack of frost armor. Activating your rift grants you and your allies maximum frost armor stacks, when frost pulse is equipped. So that's going to be for 6 seconds in PvP. Yeah, this is going to be something very good in both PvE and PvP. If the time, because it's gonna be frost armor. Okay, so hold on. Let me go to yesterday's thing, because I want to see that thing on frost armor again. Okay. Reduces the damage in PvE combatants 45 per stack, so you gain maximum in PvE. And from 2% per stack, so that means it's going to be better. So having Whisper of Rhyme too is still going to be good too. Now increase the maximum durations of stack from your frost armor. Maximum will be 5 stacks that last for 9 seconds. With the newly reworked Whisper Rhyme fragments, you'll get maximum lifetime increases to 13 seconds and can have a maximum stack of 8. Unlike the Overshield, Frost Armor remains active when your super is cast, though its effectiveness is simply lower when your super is active. So this allows, that means Shadebinders, we're going to have to be very cautious when doing that. Yeah. So you'll gain, so my teammates will gain 5 frost armor. That will do about, let's see, 4.5 per stack of reduced damage against PvE combatants. So by taking that by 5, that's about 22.5 damage reduction in PvE, and it's 2, so that's a 10% damage reduction in PvE when using Frost Pulse with the Wrathweavers. And that's just for my teammates. That's not including me. They didn't say anything about taking with the stasis buff, so stasis weapons are going to be useful. Which, when I did my stasis stuff, why didn't I use frickin' Wrathweavers? I was going for reload instead of anything else. Duh. So for me, I get up to 8 damage resistance, so I can have about 16% damage reduction in the Frost Pulse with Frost Armor. And almost 30% damage reduction. And that could mean, Wrathweavers are going to be very interesting. I want to take a look back at the Hunter one, because we want to look at Renewal Grasps. Entering a Dustfield volume, you or your allies gain a stack. I don't see... It's granted, resetting your timer. I think if you do have a Renewal Grasp Hunter with your team, they're definitely going to want to throw it on the well, because they'll gain the Frost Armor, and then you have like a Frost Pulse, so they have it as well. And with this thing, they will grant a damage reduction as well. Whisper of Chill to create a stasis shard. No longer passive when you're no grant chance to create a stasis shard when you attack when you yeah, no, I'm definitely seeing that Wrathweaver Warlocks we're really going to want to get used to using our Shadebinder. Which, as much as I don't like it, I think it's going to be very interesting to use with that. I think if you're a Stasis Hunter and you like Renewal Grasps and you liked it in PvE, it got a little bit better for you. You can still use well, but I think they're really going to want to see how you play everything. Us having exotics become artifice would be very good. Titans, I mean, sure, this part, cool. Kefri's Horn, I don't know. I don't know how to feel. Like, it seems like with like Senseless Subs got nerfed. Heart of Innermost Light just got a HUD rework. Nothing changed really. Kefri's Horn, more damage in PvE. If you like it, I guess. Ursa Ferosa now working with a new Void aspect, Unbreakable. Cool. But I don't know. With that being said, y'all, that has been the look at the exotic armor changes. If you're a Warlock, get yourself some Wrathweavers. If you're a Hunter, get yourself some Renewal Grasps. And start kind of building into Grenade. You're definitely going to want to like really take a look at how effective your Grim, Tectonic, and Glacial Harvest is, so you can gain a stack of Frost Armor and see what will be most reliable for you to get things from like Stasis, Weapon, Final Blows have a chance to create a Stasis Shard. What's your best option for that? So yeah, definitely what I'm going to say there. Definitely recommend Warlocks get your Wrathweavers. Get them to like the highest level you can. In preparation for that, and try to get yourself a Jutsu roll. I would say look for Wrathweavers that are heavy into recovery and intellect, because you're gonna want your intellect to be high, but not like incredibly high. Like at least if you can get like high resilience, high grenade, high recovery with like a good bit of resilience. Let me just make a Lola optimizer for stasis real quickly here. Okay. So, I mean, I can get you know, my Wrathweavers aren't even fully up. I have a high discipline one, but I kind of want to go for more. I'd probably boost my recovery. So I'd throw like a, you know, a recovery mod on it. So that brings my recovery to about basically 100. I'd have 101 grenade, 101 resilience. I'd have tier 7 intellect and 1.5 strength and 2 mobility. And that's just having something that doesn't add the plus 2 to everything. So if I instead changed the recovery to, let's say, intellect, instead, I'd still have 100 recovery And that's not without having multiple artifice things on. They're all going with my Lost specific helmet. Yeah. Well, what if I want... Yeah, I could go for like almost... See, if I went 7 resilience, I could have 9 intellect. Which you can kind of go for. And then you gotta think, my Wrathweavers only have a plus 10. They would get an additional 12 by all these, and then the additional plus 3 when they become Artifice. So this would bring my discipline up to a 28, my recovery to an 18, my resilience to an 18, my intellect would go to an 18. This would allow for this becoming a 90 Wrathweavers. And then whatever additional mod I wanted to throw on for that extra like plus 3 that I might need. Like, I could bring up my intellect to a 95. That would almost put it to the level of a tier 10. So there's some definite build crafting that you can do with all this. And I think with adding these different, things to it will make them very interesting. And they say primary weapons will do increased damage with one of the things, right? So it's going to be very interesting, to say the least, with everything that's going to be coming about. But I've been talking far too long, Red Faction. I'm going to get this video up. Last little bits. Stasis is definitely going to be something I'm going to have to play around with. I think when I'm not live, but we'll be live for a little bit on Sunday to do a couple things. I know I've been doing a lot of the Green Week, but I think this has got me really hyped for using Stasis, and I kind of want to play test around with getting used to using Wrathweavers in PvP. Because I think in PvE it's going to be great. The thing that to work on is it in PvP. Both its work in 6s and in 3s. So yeah. That being said, y'all, hope you have a great weekend. I'll see you on Sunday. I'm off.